Okay, so hello everyone. It's 6 o'clock. Let's start. Just want you to please sign in, register. It's not exactly under your alphabetic, under your surname, but under your first name. Just sign in, please. Okay, and if you haven't looked or signed in, just there is extra space at the last one. Just please write it. Okay. Yeah, we'll look at it. Okay. So we're also live streaming, so please no swearing. So what I'm going to quickly do with you all is I'm going to start off on taking you really through the nitty-gritty part of LinkedIn, okay? And then we'll start taking it a little bit further because there are some people that know nothing about LinkedIn, and then we'll take it on how to use it professionally, how to use it for job hunting, and for those of you that have your own business, how you can use it to network and make those connections. Okay. You can ask questions if you like as we go along, but I don't want to stand on too many technical things. All right. If you have something seriously technical, ask me later. Okay. All right. So has everybody got a LinkedIn profile? Who hasn't got one? Okay. So do you know how to log into LinkedIn? www.linkedin.com. Okay. The very first part that you do is you literally just obviously put in your email address that you're going to use, and you can go and create an account. If you want to do that while we're talking, you're welcome. But I'm going to go ahead as if you all have an account. Okay. So let's follow it as we go along. All right. And obviously, I have to use my profile, so don't get scared if you see anything that looks crazy. So let's start with a little bit about LinkedIn. And a disclaimer, I'm not working for LinkedIn or promoting them. I'm just saying that this is one of the better tools to use if you do want to be in that professional space. This is something that as business studies students, you need to have that presence out there in the market. So this is how to make sure that what you're doing now is going to be professional and how it's perceived as professional. Okay. So let's have a look at. Let's go to the profile. All right. So on your profile, you need to have a proper photo. You need to have a headshot, which is shoulders and above. Please don't wear sunglasses or caps, or I have seen horrendous pictures on here, okay? And it's scary what people put on there and think it's professional. So you need to have something that looks professional. And these days, everybody's got a cell phone, so you can take a photo of yourself even, or get a friend to take a nice photo of you when you're wearing that nice shirt and suit, and pop that on. That's where you need to have it on here. Then you need to make sure that whatever name you have on here, right, is the name that you recognize by. If you are Johannes van Allen, Petrus Jacobus van Zyl, you can put all of those on, but who knows you by that name? What do they know you as? Petrus van Zyl? That's what you put on. So you need to have the name that you use as your professional name, but that is recognizable. And you don't put anything else besides the name, like, actually CEO of this type of corporation. That goes into the experience. So in your name, it's plain and simple who you are. You don't put in other qualifications or anything, because when you go and search for somebody, you need to be recognizable, right? So the idea is also that this is why you link it to your photo, is because there might be a lot of Petrus van Zyls, which means that how do people know who you are and which one they should get hold of? So that's why the photo is important. It must be a clear photo of yourself. Now you'll see here, I'm going to take off this because we'll come back to that later. These pop up automatically based on the profile that you put in. There's a part here for a summary, but this summary you should actually do last, because the summary tells you exactly who you are and what you're about. You should ideally write it in third person assumed. So in other words, not I am a jack of all trades, I do this and this. It should be in this capacity, work has been done in so and so. So that you give an idea of what your competencies are. You can write it in first person as well. There are some very good executive summaries that are out there. But it mustn't be, if you do write it in first person, also please make sure that it's grammatically correct and that you're not going to write in the case of, the first pronoun all the way through. I did this and I am this and I. Okay? So that's why that summary is very particular. And it's also going to show where you're heading, what you intend to do. So you need to understand who your audience is. So I'm going to come back to the summary afterwards. So let's go to your experience. When it comes to your experience, put in as many as you can, as authentically as you can. Please don't put in jobs that you haven't actually done or that you are embellishing to a certain extent. You want to put in those jobs that you have done because everybody will recognize this. Now, if you have 2 jobs ago and somebody looks and you say, I was the general manager of this company, and they look at the duties that you had, and they know for a fact that's not what you did, it's not authentic and it gives you a bad name. So make sure that what you've got is correct.
What about scoop? I mean, if you actually say you're doing A, is thank you can actually provide your certification as well. The bottom there.
You can add it if you want. That's up to you. If you want to add it in, you do.
More believable.
It might be, but it might also be overkill. Because when you send in your CV to a company, you're going to send all those documentation anyway. And it depends on the audience. What do you want to do with your LinkedIn profile? Are you job hunting or are you creating space for networking? You see. So it can be done. It's up to you whether you want it. Okay. Then you need to put in the duties that you can, because these responsibilities or duties actually are keywords for when you are job hunting. It's picked up by the job hunting search. So the best is to list them, but you can have different variety in them. For example, you can just list the basic ones that you want to know. See, I'm not job hunting, so I don't need to put in things that are recognizable, but I want people to know the 3 different categories that I'm working with. That's why it's up there. But then again, for the Small Business Academy, it's more a bit about what are we doing there. And in this particular one, I wanted people to know more about the company. So that's why I put it in there. And if you can, when you, let's go to edit, because you can edit your profile up here. Whoops, I'm on there. Okay. Sorry, I'm missing something. All right. The minute that you hover over something, you can edit it, okay? Or you can add in more jobs. If you put in, there we go, add a position. All right, so if I were to add a position, and you do have a company that is recognizable and has its own logo, then go and put that in, okay? It looks good if you have a company that has the logo. Then you can put in the different titles that you had. You can put in the location, that's good, and the time period. If you're still working there, you would click currently work here, and that would then keep going to, it will show on your current status as present. And then you put your description in of what you're actually doing there. Save that or not. I'm just going to cancel because obviously. Okay, so put in as much as you can. Put in the keywords also that relate to where you want to go. So if you are job hunting and you are particularly looking for a marketing type of job, then you're going to put in those keywords within that experience that relate to the type of job that you're looking for. So you want to build the bridges. And within that summary, you're also going to build a bridge. So this is where you're going to say something like, based on my experience and my recent studies, I intend to align my career in the fields of marketing or in that particular industry. Okay. After all your experience, it comes down with all these different ones. You can do volunteers and so on, but I'll come back to the skills and endorsement. Your education. Okay. Now, at the moment, I've mentioned to some of you we're having a little thing with LinkedIn. We're trying to fix up the University of Stellenbosch Business School so that our logo appears properly, and that will be fixed soon, hopefully. But in the meantime, put the full one in there. Put in what you're studying. And if you are a full-time student, when you put in your dates, you can put in the current date and the date that you expect to finish. So if you're expecting to finish in 2017, it will come up as expected, which means then that you haven't completed. When you are an alumnus, I mean you've graduated, that's when you put that date in, and then it will show complete date. Now here's the key: if you're doing your MBA or any of your other programs, and you want to show a bit of your specialization, then once you've done your electives, put in those electives. It shows a little bit about where you've been, what you've been doing, where you're focusing, and why other people should connect to you. And then when you've done your thesis, if you've got a topic that you find particularly interesting or is being used for your strategic intent, then put it in there so that people again can see why they should connect with you. And then you put in all your other degrees, but remember, put in your tertiary. Don't put in high school, okay? This is not about high school anymore. I know that LinkedIn has now lowered the age limit to 13, but technically, it should be all about professionals on here. They estimate that there's about 347 million professionals on LinkedIn, and they estimate that there's about 600 million professionals in the world. So about half of them are already on LinkedIn. That means that if your network grows, then you can tap into those professionals. Professionals should be somebody that's got tertiary education and that worked at least 2 years. So be careful who you connect with. All right. You can put in additional info. You can put in what your interests are. You can put in your personal details. There are also places where you can put in your information on how people can contact with you. That's up to you how much you want people to see. So you can tell them, what your contact details are, and that depends on how you want people to get hold of you and why you want them to get hold of you. If you are looking for a job, then obviously you want to put in as many contact details as you have in there so that people know how to get hold of you. If you want people to connect with you for certain expertise, then those are the information that you need to put on there. So that's why it's also important to remember that whatever you're putting on your LinkedIn profile potentially can be visible to everybody else. So make sure what you've got on there is up to date, for one thing, but also that it's relevant to who you want to connect with. All right. They have all these things about languages and all of these things as well. You can add them if you want to. If you want to work overseas, always good to put in all the languages. Then people know that you have a bit of French, and they can offer you a job that's in France or in Cameroon. Okay? That's why you need to add in those. All right. You also have in LinkedIn a couple of features. You can put in your volunteer positions. Now, the reason you would put in your volunteer positions is to show your potential leadership. You want to show a company how much other and extra things and value you can add to the company. So that's why you would put it in there to show what else you do out there in the community. All right, let's look at skills and endorsements. Okay, this is a bit tricky, but that also means that you must know what skills you want people to know about you. And these skills also relate to the type of jobs that you want to go and search for. Or if you have your own company, you want people to know why they must contact you. All right? This is your whole professional marketing, your whole professional branding. So if you are heading towards strategy and you want people to know that's what you're for, then you need to get people to endorse. Part of it is a bit of manipulation, because you'll find that these endorsements only appear the highest if people, obviously endorse you for that. Now, when you're searching for somebody, Olivia, can I use you? Okay, if I am looking for Olivia, if I can spell right. Right, so I'm going to take Olivia. It should pop up, and it automatically says marketing communications, digital marketing, advertising. Now, if I didn't know her, and I didn't know what skills she actually has, a lot of people actually just endorse anyway. And they just pop up on your endorsements, there we go. If I do know her, okay, I'm not saying she doesn't have management, but for this I'm going to take it off. I would endorse her, and it would pop up immediately as the most for her, okay? It starts climbing. So you actually need people, get your friends and your colleagues to endorse you for those skills that you want to be known for. Because the higher they are, the more they'll pop up so that other people can see them. And those people that don't know how to use LinkedIn will automatically just endorse you for those things. It is a useful part of LinkedIn just to have, so that people can see a trend, but it's not vital and it's not the most user-friendly version of LinkedIn. So don't worry too much if it does come up, but aim for getting people to endorse you for the skills that you want to be known for.
It can also be not too reflection of you, because if someone endorse you and anybody, how do they know? So
exactly, that's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying. You need to ask people to endorse you for the skills that you do want to be known for. Because, okay, let's do the experiment. Who's on LinkedIn right now? Okay, can you all search Olivia Teague? Okay. Actually, can you just connect with her quickly? Because then I'm going to show you something. Okay, so if you connect and she can just accept quickly. Because currently she's got here at the top digital strategy, internet marketing, business strategy. Okay, Olivia, which one of those four do you want to be known for?
Business strategy.
Business strategy.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you accept a few people with you?
Yeah, now if I can just get on there, because I'm struggling to get on to LinkedIn at this stage. So my signal's quite bad.
Okay. Who's on and connected and well, everything's okay?
I want your likes.
You want
Add me.
Right. Tell me quickly, how do we write your name?
It's Maxine, Maxine, and the surname's Alderman. Yeah,
There we go.
we're already friends.
Okay. All right, so it comes up training, management, sales, real estate. If everybody can quickly go and connect with Maxine, if you haven't already, she can quickly accept you, and I want to show you what happens quickly. All right. So now look what's sitting at the top here, Maxine. you've got real estate, training, sales, and leadership.
Mhm.
What comes up here is training, management, sales, real estate, investment property.
Okay.
Okay. Have you accepted a few?
I'll just read it. Oh, there we are. Yeah.
Okay. Which one of these, say the top 4 or 5, do you want to be known for the most?
Real estate.
Real estate. Okay. Now, anybody who's looking at her profile who has connected with her, who is a first connection, if you click real estate, then you'll see this number of 5 should change. Let's see if it works.
Okay, I've accepted everyone.
Okay.
Okay, there's more.
Has anybody clicked on real estate for her? You have? Okay, let's just try. Eight. That's how easy it is. Okay?
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Good work.
How serious do potential employers and agents actually take their endorsement?
Not that seriously. However, same with the recommendations that you can get from people, it's about the trend that they see. So if you send out a CV and you say, like she's in real estate and training and sales, but in her CV she says, actually what, I'm a team player and I really enjoy marketing. Marketing is where I want to go. But in her online presence, there's nothing about marketing. There's a gap there. So something doesn't add up. It's literally just about what they can see as where do you actually place yourself? What is your interest? Because if people know you well, and the more your presence is online, that people know why they must connect with you, those things will start becoming true. So people will be starting to endorse you because they know, yes, you are a strategist, or you are the consultant. Okay. All right. But now, what I quickly want to show you is, when you make a change and you haven't yet told your boss that you're leaving, everybody else gets that notification, right? That says, just change his profile, new line in there, open to opportunities, and you don't want them to see. Do you know how to change that? It's actually very easy. You need to go to your privacy and settings. Obviously, they're going to ask you again. And you've got a number of different options here, okay? You can go and you can literally go and have a look at your communications. And when you have here, you can set all your frequencies. You can set the types of messages that you are willing to receive or who can see your invitations. Let me just see on this one. Sorry. Yeah, this one. You can turn off these broadcasts or not. You can let people know if you want to change your profile or not. So you can do that while you're busy changing it, so people don't get these constant updates all the time. And while you're creating your profile, while you're busy connecting with people. And then when you're ready, you go and turn it back, because then you want people to see you've endorsed something, or that you have, made a statement, or that you've joined a particular group, because then again it shows your interest. So this is, go and have a look at your settings and see what you want people to view and what you don't want people to see. Okay. All right, so let me go back quickly to your summary. This summary is what people read very quickly. This is just to give an idea of the whole person of who you are, okay? So in here, there's a number of different ways that you can write it, but write towards where you want to go. You need to give people the knowledge of why they should connect with you. So do you understand where you're going? What is your 10-year plan? How do you want to take your career forward? Do you know where you want to go? So in there, you need to really very carefully write down putting into those words what you want to achieve in your next step. Remember, your next job doesn't have to be the be all and the end all. It is the stepping stone to where you actually want to go. So don't worry about it being the perfect job that you're looking for. This is actually a good idea of who you are and where you want to take your career towards. So that's what you need to do. Is there anything other specific on the profile? All right. Now, because you've got your profile set up, and this one should be what you want people to know you for straight away. So you can edit all of these. You can add in what is your current, and so that people can see exactly why. Whatever the keywords are is going to be how you search for jobs. So it's going to suggest jobs for you. It will come in, based on some of those profiles. Say, for example, I'm interested in education account manager. I would go and have a look at that. Now, here's the key part of this. A lot of these jobs are posted, they're paid for, so they are serious jobs that are out here. These are jobs that people, they're going to be there for 30 days. It's not going to be jobs that 800 people are going to be applying, and it's actually an 8-month-old job. Now, you'll see some of them tell you if it is a apply now, you'll see who actually did post that job. Often these are the people that you want to connect to, because a lot of companies don't use or don't send it to the Gumtree to place on for job searches. They're using professional people. And these are the people that you want to connect to, because the bigger that your network is, the more opportunities you're going to get. And then you'll see, you can have a look at the job description. You'll be able to see, all the different responsibilities and see if it matches what you have in your profile. Now, if you are looking at a particular type of job, you also need to look at the different words around those jobs. So if you're looking for strategy management, it doesn't have to be just strategy manager. You need to explore all the different ones. It could be strategy development manager and so on. These keywords might also be what you want to use in that summary of your profile. So search the jobs and then also see what applies to how you want to project yourself, how you want to be known out there. So I'm going to come back to the jobs, but before that, let's go to connections. Do you know how the connections look like and how they work? So you have your first tier, second tier, and third tier. All right. So quickly show you. So obviously, that's you. And you have your first connections, right? Now, obviously, each of your first connections also have connections. These become your second connections. Those guys also have their own connections. Those become your third, and they have their own. But that is outside your network. So all of this forms your network. Within that network, you've also got companies that you're looking at, and you've also got groups. The people in those groups, the companies that you're following, are all part of the network. Now the idea is, You need to bring these second guys closer. So they must become first. Because if they become first, these become the second, and these guys get added to your network. That's how you grow your network. So, for example, right, so I've got 1,015 connections. It puts me in contact with 10.8 million people. Out of that, 347 million. So it's not that much, but it's something to start. It might be that I am looking for a particular type of expertise. There's somebody sitting in New York who knows somebody in Joburg who's looking for my skills. And that's why you need to build that connection. Or it could be that because you want to work in a particular company, you need to know who is the HR person, who is the operations manager in that company, so that you can go and network with them and talk to them and find out what is happening in that company, how, what the job's like in there. The networking is actually more important than applying for a job, because you need to build that relationship. So this is one way of starting to build your network to find out who is in the know about what's happening in that industry, or who's in that company, what's happening next. Who can introduce you to the HR person? You don't want to send a CV in and it's cold. You need to be able to say, can I speak to Jenny Jones? And they can put you through and you can talk to Jenny Jones, the HR manager. Or, at least you can phone Jenny Jones and say, I would like to apply for this position, but I'm actually looking for maybe this type of position. And she can say to you, well, we don't have anything at the moment, but something's coming up. So this is how you start looking at your connections. Start playing around with who's available. So when it comes to your connections, you get all these invitations, okay? So now, you don't have to connect with everybody. You don't have to, actually accept anybody. But you need to go and have a look. And that's why, same way your profile has to be up to date and must have everything in it. Same way you want to know who you're looking at. So for me, I want to see, first of all, who is that person? I want to see how I'm connected to that person. Luckily, I know Dion, so I might accept him. But now I've got one shared connection here. Doesn't seem like there's a photo. Is this person in the class? No? Okay, great. Now, tells me the education is at the University of Stellenbosch, but I've only got one shared connection, and this person only has one connection. Makes me a little worried, okay? Now I'll have a look and see, is this person one of our students? Not. So why has this person wanted to connect to me? And because I don't know that person, I don't know why, I will first do a little bit more investigation before I...
Confession, Edith, that would be me, and I just started my profile.
I was like, that's one of my connections. I don't know who they are. Oh dear.
Okay, there we go. See. All right, but do you see what happens if you don't have a proper profile? The person that you're trying to connect to, because often you just click that connect button, whoop, off it goes, okay? There's no message, there's nothing that happens on there, so people don't know why they're connecting to you. So now, those are the things that I would look at, and that's why I want to know who's this person, how would I connect to that person. So your profile needs to be strong, and or you can just ignore it. You don't have to go and look at it. Okay. So, but now say for example, it does come up with all of these other persons. Do you know them? Do you want to connect with them? Let's pick somebody I haven't got on. Hey, what was your name again? Yeah, Karina. What's your surname? Okay. Sorry, K?
K-O-A-N-T-Z.
Okay, let's see. Would it be one of those? No.
No, one name's got a double N.
Oh, double N, that could be one. Like so.
No,
Yeah.
one name.
There we go. All right. So she's the second connection. I just want to show you if it does come up. Sometimes they allow you to connect straight away, but other times it asks you how do you know Karina? This is also why your profile needs to have as many of your companies that you've worked with or your positions on there, so that you can connect easier to somebody within your network. So now, or we have a classmate, which means I need to have a look at how we connected. If I choose how have we done business, it's going to tell me what positions I have here. And I would choose one of those. If I say a friend, you can do that, and a lot of people do, and they just send it off, okay? Assume everybody's a friend. This is not Facebook. So you must be very careful of how you connect with people. If you do not know them from a bar of soap, then make sure that you find a way to get connected, or you ask to be introduced by somebody else who does know that person. That is the polite way of doing it. That is the LinkedIn etiquette. So make sure that how you connect is also important. What it does on your profile, it also shows the type of connections that you have. So at some stage when you are looking and you are doing research on who's who out there, you can use that as, these are my connections through companies, these are my connections through the work that I've done, okay? Or sometimes it's through your alumni network. So sometimes you want to be able to search that part. If it is something that you do know-ish, then it's okay for a friend. Most of the time they'll be happy to connect with you. But like you've seen, now some of those have come through to me and I'm not going to connect to them until I know who they are or what they're about or why I should connect with them, you see. The other one is that if you say other, they're going to ask you what's their email address. So you better have an email address ready, otherwise you can't connect. If you say I don't know, it's going to say go and find a connection, okay? Nope, can't get it, okay? So this is why the way to connect, for me, I would say we've done business together. There we go. They're all over. And I'll send the invitation and hopefully she'll be kind enough to accept them one day. Obviously, it then starts putting up other suggestions and you can connect that way. A lot of times these come through and because somehow you're related through your first connection, it allows you to connect straight away with no issue. It doesn't ask you, which is fine. You just hope that that person does know you or see the connection so that they will connect with you. The idea behind your connections is connect with your colleagues, connect with your suppliers, your customers, people that you know will have an impact on your network and the way that you want to do business. So if you don't want to connect with a particular client or customer, you don't have to. But think about their network. Who do they know? Who's part of their network and how you can then start expanding your own network. That's why you want to connect with as many people as you can, because you actually want to get to the next step or the next level of connections without stalking them. So there's one way of connecting. The other way is to go into a particular person's profile. Who can I pick on now? Anybody volunteer? Ooh, you're also scared. Okay, Ilana. Jansen. Okay, there we go. Now, she's got 192 connections. And I should be able to see, but now you'll see we have 27 shared, and there's a lot of them that are second connections. Now, if I was interested in their, I'd go and find out who's this lady, Talent and Transformation Manager. Would that be part of the connections that I want to make? And if so, tap into that. If, however, it becomes a third connection, you'd rather want to get, so you'd rather click into that person, that would come up. And I want to rather get introduced, okay? So I click introduce. Now you gotta remember that whatever I write here, the other person is going to see. So I first write, because now I've got to choose the connection. Who do I know the best? Probably Ilana. So it comes up automatically with a message. Ilana, can you introduce me to Ilana? But here you need to say why. So here you would say something like, would you mind connecting me to Ilana because I see that she is the expert in talent management and transformation. In my career aspect at the moment, that's what I'm dealing with. I would love to make that connection with her. Whatever you write there, Ilana, the person I want to contact with, is going to see. Ilana is going to have to approve that if she deems me worthy, and then only it will go to that person, and they will accept. So sometimes an introduction is actually a better way to connect than just pressing friend or connect. Because then the person knows why you need to connect with them. Here's the other tip. That message will go to that person and the inbox, right? And at least they'll be able to see why you're connecting. They will, in some cases, remember who you are and connect back with you. If you say, I'd like to talk to you immediately, that's not going to happen. So rather put in a phrase like, I'd like to tap into your expertise at some stage. Then they don't feel obliged that they have to connect with you, or that you're actually stalking them and you want some job for them right now, or you want money, okay? So give them the option to connect with you at their leisure or their convenience, or that you give it some time, that you build the relationship so that you can connect with them properly. The other thing is that sometimes when people do try the other route of just a pure connection, they'll also write, and I'd love to connect with you, I really want to chat to you about this and this, or I'm looking for this type of expertise. And it comes into your connections and not your inbox. Then now often, and I've done this before, is you just press accept and that message is gone and it's like, oh sugar, why do they really want me? So what you need to do is actually send them an email a week or two later and say, I don't know if you remember, I wanted to connect with you because of this and this, so that they know why. And have a valid reason, okay? Not just a made up reason just to connect. Pick the people that you really want good expertise from, that you want to tap into because of who they are and what their level of experience is. Does that make sense? Yeah. All right, so that's one way of getting connected. If you want to do the other way, obviously it asks you about, do you want to, because if I put Gmail, it's going to list everybody on my Gmail list, okay, which is usually quite disturbing when it comes out to everybody on your Gmail list and suddenly they want to connect from no point at all. So it is better to rather go and search for the people that you want to connect with. And through that, you'll be able to connect to other people. And from there on, your network spreads. So you can use this as a beginning. So if, like Rowan is starting his profile now, then it might be good, but pick and choose the ones that you want to connect with so that it goes automatically and just to get you started. But don't send to the whole list. Okay, be careful about that. Okay. And then there are ways of finding alumni, so you would have a look within your scope. So you can go and look at the people where they live, what type of work they do, or in particular industries. So you can actually go and see how it fits in. So if I wanted to go check out all my connections in the UK, those are the people. Or if I'm interested in, say for example, Sassel, I'd go and have a look at all of those people that are there within. It's within your network of alumni. So let's say, so for example, Sassel. Okay. So it'll pick up those people, and if I do know any of them, I would try and connect, or if I found that their job title was interesting for whatever reason that we're busy with a project or something, that's where I connect with them. Okay. So there's a lot of ways to connect to people, but make sure that you're connecting for the right reasons. Then you'll see you can filter your contacts. It used to be such a nice system where you could really go and look at everything, but you can actually go to the company and say, for example, we're looking at Old Mutual. Anybody who I'm connected with in Old Mutual will pop up. So if you are an MBA at the moment, or you're project management or something, and you've got an assignment, and you need to be able to talk to that particular expert in Old Mutual, go through your contacts, get a hold of them, send an email to them, find out who is the supply chain guru in the field, how can we talk to him, can we only interview him? That's how you make those connections. Otherwise, you can change your company and go look for the other ones. Yeah. Many filters. All right. Anything particular on connections? So I'm going to go back to jobs because it relates a bit to connections. Okay. Of course, it's going to suggest jobs for me. Say we look at this one. So there again, there's a connection. So if I was looking for a particular recruitment specialist, I'd first go and have a look at who is this person, go and see are they for real, and maybe connect with them and find out if that was my industry and that's where I wanted to be in. Those are the connections you must start making. So this is one way of going to find them. If we go back to that job. All right. Now here's what happens is the minute that you press apply now, it's going to send a message to Yegerle. And so that they know that this person was interested in that job, even if I'm not going to apply. When you do, if you do decide to apply, you can upload a file, you can add in your resume, but it will automatically take your LinkedIn profile. So whatever you enter, your education, all of that, it will pop that up already. Then you need to add a cover letter. And your cover letter obviously needs to be succinct, short and sweet. You don't want to be an asset to the company that can be sold. So you must write it very carefully. Now, we've got Andrew Brandley here. He's going to be doing a CV and more workshop next week, Thursday. So, and he will also relate to what you should be saying, how you should be saying, how you should be including into that. So if you can make that, that's going to be also a very important add-on to this. And he'll tell you exactly what is the better way to put a cover letter in. But if you submit it, obviously it will go and Yegerle gets all of those messages. If however you don't submit it, but you did click through to it and they got the notification, they'll might go look at your profile if they find it interesting. And you never know, they come back to you and going, well, actually, that job might not have been perfect for you, but I have something up in the pipeline. Would you be interested? So that's why you need to go and look at those jobs that you're interested in, even if it's not the perfect job that you want to apply for, because of the connections that it makes to those people. And then you can also find the people that are in that industry and that want that work with that, and those are the connections you need to make. Okay. But you'll see, you're going to have a look at the job description, the desired skills. There's always a little bit about the company. But if it's not something that you're really interested in, there might be similar jobs that do tickle your fancy. So then you have the option to go and see what else is available. And you can now see which companies are posting these type of jobs. So you start spreading out your search for those particular areas. If, however, that's not appealing to you, you now look at what other people viewed, because there might be something similar to what you want to do. So go and have a look at those. And again, it shows you which companies are posting those jobs. So those might be the ones that the companies that you want to start following. Or you go and do a job search. And let's say we're looking for let's do director and go with pie. Right. Now, you can change how you want your search to go. You can put that you want it in South Africa. You can put that you want it near Cape Town, or you put in your postal code. And now it tells you, within that area. So I'm going to leave it as that. And I change my search because I'm not interested in Joburg. I want Cape Town. And these are, but obviously it's going to pick up those keywords. Now it picks up director, but within that profile, there's probably something about finance as well. That's why I say you've got to do the search and you've got to keep hunting for it. But it means that at some stage you might be able to go and have a look and see if there's anything else that relates to what you were looking for. You're going to have to spread out that search. Go back to one. Ooh. Okay. So you'll be able to see what type of jobs are out there, who's doing jobs, who's posting those jobs, and those are the people that you want to go. Now look here. Say, for example, you were interested in this one at Goldman Resourcing. There's someone in your network. Now, either that person works at that place, yes, they do, but it's a second connection, which means either if you are really interested in that job, you need to connect to that person, or you need to be, at least you've got a name which you can now phone the company and say, can I speak to Sharp? Okay? And you need to build the relationship and find out who that person is. You might have to ask them what else is out there, or who's the connection person, and tell them, I saw you on LinkedIn, because people respect LinkedIn because of its professionality. So that's why you want to tell them, yes, I saw it on LinkedIn, and that's why I'm connecting to you. Would you mind helping me with something? Be honest and open with them as well. Same way as if you have your own company, or you're building your own company, then, and you are looking for a certain type of expertise, then you start looking at these phrases and you start looking for those connections, and that's how you tap into that. Right. Now there is something like a, you can try the premium, which is the next step. At the moment, this one here is just the basic account. If you're seriously job hunting, it's worth your while putting yourself onto the job premium. There's different options that you can do. You can pay in dollars per month. But what it does is it puts a little suitcase next to your name, and it means that you are job hunting. And a lot of recruiters have their own section in which they will put in like 5 or 6 different criteria. And they're looking for a person who's got an MBA, who's got finance background of at least 12 years within the Cape Town area, okay? If those are applicable to you, that pops into their inbox. And if they look at your profile, they might find you interesting, and you might get the person contacting you. Overseas, recruiters use it pretty much most of the time. South Africa is getting up there, and we're slowly starting to use it more and more. More and more people actually will go look at your profile afterwards. Not many recruiters in South Africa use it solely and exclusively to look at LinkedIn, but they do go and look at the profile later on. So it's still worth it. You still get that connection with the recruiters. Okay. Let's go and have a look at these. Okay. Groups. The reason that you want to be on groups is a number of different ways, different reasons. you need to explore your interests. If you've been doing something like accounting all along and you want to get into sustainability, join those groups, because those groups are the ones that you can tap into those people, hear what is the latest business trends, find out how things work, and find information. You might find a lot of very useful information, but it also puts you into the network of those people that are focused on that particular area. And if you need to tap into that expertise, that's how you start making connections with those people. So groups are actually very useful. And it's also a good way for you to start being active on LinkedIn. You can make comments. You can just like something, it shows activity. If somebody goes into a group and makes a statement or asks a question, then obviously you want to go and see who is that person. And if in your summary you've got, I'm open to new opportunities, or I am planning to move into the industry of this and this, you never know, they might have a job, or they might know of somebody who's offering that kind of position. And go and join the groups that are interesting to you. If you're interested in moving into Africa, go and look at African executives. MBAs should be putting themselves on all the MBA Highway, MBA Connect, all of those guys. Let me just quickly show you this one. I'm going to be handing this out at some stage, but you should be putting yourself on, for example, MBA.coza, MBA Exchange, MBA World, and you can go and have a look. A lot of them have very good listed jobs. A lot of those jobs are on LinkedIn, but it also helps you then filter out what jobs you're interested in. For interest sake, go and put on Harvard Business Review. It's also a very good place to network. But if you're interested in consulting, you want to maybe join the consulting network. And if it comes up, I don't know, you'll be able to go and see what are they talking about. Now, this guy's looking for a partner in their project. Go and see if it's interesting to you. It's in German. But you'll be able to see what else is happening. You'll be able to go and talk to the different people, and you'll be able to see what your group contribution is. Because the more active you are, the more people want to see.
What is it locked in the group?
Sorry?
What is it locked in the group?
That is a closed group. So you have to apply to the group, and they will first have to verify you or accept you before you will be a member of that group. So for example, the Alumni Group is a closed group because we first want to check if you are an alumnus, then we will let you in. So we verify each and every one. Because then you're privy to those discussions or those events or whatever is happening in that group. And you must make sure that you understand what are the rules of the group. You'll be able to go and see under the settings, what are the group information? Because some of them will say, for example, we're here to discuss, and this is now, so they unite all global strategy, and they're happy to put in all kinds of things from advisory, consultant, recruitment, jobs. You get some groups that go, no, please do not post jobs, do not have these types of discussions. It's only for this particular area, or only this is what we're doing. So make sure that you understand why you're joining the group. There's a lot of groups that do post jobs, which is nice, but it can also be very frustrating. So if you're not interested in those particular jobs. So you can turn the settings off as well. So if you go to your settings here, and you go here. Okay. So now you can change your contact, you can change your activity. You can ask them, yes, I want them to send me an email for every discussion, or I want a digest. Then it suggests, do you want a daily, or do you want a weekly, or not at all? Or are you looking for announcements? For me, I'm happy that the members message me. I don't necessarily want all the emails that come up. You've seen them, they come up daily after every group. So you can switch those off, and you can then go into that group when you feel like it. You don't have to be bombarded by all these messages, and you don't have to look at everything all the time because some groups post a lot, some post a little bit later. So it's up to you how much you want to spend time on that. There we go. All right. And you'll see now, these members are part of your network. So you can tap into them, you'll be able to go and have a look at them. Well, you should be able to. It's a bit slow now. So you can actually go and see who else of your contacts are in there. You can then also start looking at, say for example, let's see if there's a second contact. Right, so there's a part, now you start seeing all the second contacts. So if I was looking to say move into Phoenix, and then I'd be able to look at a contact and ask them, what's the business culture like in that area, or ask them what's, if I had a question about consumer products, that's the person that I want to connect to. So do you see how useful that can be? Okay. So that's why you also want to join the groups, because of that network. You need to be able to grow your network that way. You'll also find that on your profile, you should be able to see all the groups that you're on. Okay? So if anybody was looking at my profile, they'd be able to go and see what groups I'm in, because say for example, they know that I'm interested in competitive intelligence, then it's easier to quickly go and look at those groups and say, oh, okay, that looks like it's a good group to join. So go and have a look at your friends and see what they're doing. It also, again, gives people a trend on the type of things that you're interested in. So if you are moving into competitive intelligence, then people start realizing that you have a serious interest in it. And that's why you have the expertise in that, or that's what you're building in your career at the moment, and why your career wants to move in that direction. Now, let me show you what happens with companies. Okay. You can follow as many companies as you like. And here's the trick. If you are interested in working for a particular company, then go and follow that company. Get to know the company, know what they do, who they are, what type of people are working there. You'll have more access to them and find out what type of jobs they're giving out at the moment if you know somebody in the company. So if you really want to go work in a particular company, build those relationships. You need to find who those people are. All right, so say, here's another one. Let's go to, let me just take dimension data for, okay. See, I've got 2 first connections. I've got 603 second connections, so it's closer already. And on LinkedIn, there are 15,903. Now, if I'm looking, say, for example, for the talent manager, the talent specialist, I can say, for example, I only want to look in South Africa. You can pick and choose where you want to be. So let's just take out some of these. So we have less going on here. Okay. Now, you can then also pick and you can say, I'm looking for Cape Town, South Africa. It'll then show you all of those. If, for example, like there's a specialist consultant, but there's an account manager, practice manager, if they have an IT or, talent specialist, you should be able to see it from their title if you have enough connections. If you don't have enough connections, and let me tell you, if you have less than 80, it's not a viable network. So you need to build from 80 onwards for it actually to start working for you. So if you have more than 80, you start building that network. The more you have, the closer your second connections come to you, which means that you can actually see those profiles. You can see what the title of that person is, which means that at some stage, you can connect to that person easier. And that's how you want to search for that person. Same way as if you now, also, if you're having your own company and you need a certain set of expertise, then you need to know, what does that person do? How do I connect to that person so that I can ask them about whatever my industry is or whatever my products or promotions are. So that's why you need to build that network. The more you have, the more you can see. Obviously, if you have a premium account, you can see lots. I don't have the money for that. So, there we go. For example, strategist, HR systems, talent and workforce. That might be the person that I want to connect to if I want to go work with Dimension Data. So, build the relationship, get to know the person. So that's why one of the reasons. But also, you'll find that some of the companies, which I think Accenture does it, they have careers. And as soon as that comes up, you'll be able to go and see how to go and connect with them. They also post a lot of their jobs, and you'll be able to see where these jobs are. So if you know how to, and then they tell you graduate opportunities and careers, how to join the talent connection. Let's see what this shows you. Okay. So there we go. It'll show you what is the graduate program, the strategy program. There's the careers homepage. So it allows you then access to be able to go and see what type of jobs are out there. Because every company, most of them will have their own page on how to come and work for us. And they will post their jobs. So you need to target the companies that you want to go work for or you want to connect with so that you can see. And LinkedIn just puts it all in one place and you can go and use that. All right. I'm not going to go through these. This is just additional stuff if you want to, because you can follow influencers, you can get information about certain topics and so on. It is good because sometimes you can share those articles because you know of people within your network who would be interested in that. Then that's great. That's good. It also then shows your expertise and your interest on where you want to take a career. Okay. And then, just lastly, you can have a look at who viewed your profile. And you can see how many people looked at you. If you have the premium, then you can see everybody. These days, you can only see a certain amount of people that looked at you, or you can now start having a look at the most viewed people within your network. So it tells you who are the top influencers, who are the people. You can go and have a look at other people like you. Okay, I'm not going to upgrade. But it gives you just a little bit of stats about yourself. Just then tells you who's interested in you. Makes you aware of, are there talent scouts that are looking at you? Is there somebody within your industry that wants to get to know you? Those type of things. Okay. Okay. Is there anything you want to ask? Anything? Yeah. Andrew?
When you saw a lot of company information there from Accenture, for example, is that in their website or is that on LinkedIn? So companies don't have profiles.
Yes, they do. Companies create profiles on LinkedIn, and then they put all the information on there. It has to be authentic, and so they have to have the person that's a representative of the company to actually post it. Not anybody can just create a company on there unless you have that authorization. So that's why that information on there will be about the company itself. So you can go see the website, the telephone numbers, the contact numbers. Yeah.
How do you get uncredentialed from somebody? Firstly, there's something.
You kind of then stuck there for life. You either ignore them, or you go into your connections. All right. And say, for example, I click onto, I'll just remember myself how it's supposed to be done. If I go to more, I can remove the connection. Okay. It's that you can do. Unless it's somebody who's like really harassing you and wants to, harm you in any way.
Sometimes the sales people add you.
Yeah.
And then they start selling to you in your inbox.
You just ignore them because they're wasting their time. It's about their connections. So it's more about widening your network than you don't have to answer them. You don't have to play into their games. And something you must also be aware of, there are quite a few hackers. And what they do is they take a profile that's been dormant for a long time, create it as if it's a good profile, and send you connections of, oh, I've seen your profile, I'd really like to connect. So you must be really careful of those profiles. Go and investigate, go and research, have a look at that profile and see what are the trends within that profile. Have a look, how many connections do they have? I mean, if they've got like one connection might be dodgy. Okay, so be careful of who you connect to. But if you've got a connection, don't remove it unless it's somebody that's really stalking you or trying to harm you.
How does LinkedIn protect us from hackers?
It doesn't. You have to protect yourself, which you do with your privacy settings. Okay. And also remember that there are ways and means of making sure that you log in properly, that you keep your password to yourself, that you change it regularly, you don't use it the same for everything, okay? And log in from different devices as well. That usually confuses them a little. Those are ways that you're going to protect yourself, and then have a look at what you're doing. Make that decision, You need to make a proper critical analysis of who you're looking at.
Sorry, you've said this already, but I just wanted to double check. When you're wanting to apply for a job in a company, how do you see who else or who of your connections are already at that company?
Okay, so the best way is to go to companies itself. So say, for example, do you have a company in mind?
Well, just for example, Meltwater, the one that's on both of your emails.
What, Meltwater?
Yeah, MELT.
Okay. So you'll see all the different options as people or as a company. And I'm presuming it's this one.
Yeah.
All right. If you open up as a company, it automatically tells you how you connected. So then you can go and tap into those 16 ones, which if they're second degree should be more or less close to you, Cape Town or something. Or you can go see all the employees.
Okay, so for example, if mine just says people at Meltwater and it's not saying how you're connected, it means that I have no connections in Meltwater.
That's it, yeah. Or it means that your network isn't wide enough to include second and third connections. So you need to increase that, because the wider it is, the more chance you have that somebody is going to be working close or near to. Anyone else? Is there anything else that you want to know? Anything particular that you're not sure of?
Is there any other website that does the same thing as this one?
Well, if you're in Germany, you go to Zing. You can use that. LinkedIn is pretty much on the English-speaking world. So it is translated into something like 18 different languages or something. But for the most part, people on the English-speaking side would use LinkedIn. If you're anyway connected, to Germany, then you would use Zing, Z-I-N-G. And then there's a couple in different countries, but they're usually more country-specific. So this one is just the broadest and the widest at the moment.
How reliable is LinkedIn? How reliable is LinkedIn?
How reliable? Reliable in what sense?
People actually are they legitimate or not?
That's why I say you need to have a look at who are your connections with that, who are your shared connections on that particular person. And there are hackers, but I mean that's in anything, in Twitterland, the whole works, you'll be able to get that type of thing. So it's up to you how you make those connections and how you start looking at who is that person. And you look at where have they been, what was their job experience, where did they go to varsity, that type of thing. And those are the choices you're going to make.
So LinkedIn it's not a parent body that actually looks at certain things. If there is problems, they can just delete the profile. They don't do it at all.
Sorry, I missed that.
I said that LinkedIn is not another body that actually looks down and checks if there's any problems or issues with certain profiles.
They do. I mean, obviously they've got a whole, set of people that actually look at all these different profiles because they can also track different trends. So they can see if a profile has been dormant for 6 months and all of a sudden it's being active and it's now sending out to, a myriad of different connections, then this triggers something. So they do have a look at all of those things. They do try and whittle out those particular, bad elements. But sometimes it creeps in, You've just got to be aware and savvy about how you approach and look at people.
How can you control spam from LinkedIn?
How can you control it?
Yes.
Did you see the settings?
Yes, that's
Privacy settings. Use those. Okay.
there's work.
It's up to you to find out.
One question regarding I'm a consultant, so
Yeah.
I've seen that in some profiles you can say link to projects you think rather than jobs.
So you can link it to?
Well, I've seen in some LinkedIn sites that you can say, well, this is my consultant job or company, and then I have these projects, these listed projects.
Okay. Is it on the profile? I've never seen something involved.
Yes, I've seen that.
So you mean under the company itself? Under the
Yeah, under the
experience?
company you would list a number of assignments or projects, which is very useful for consultants.
Yeah, so you can add in your own links here. You can add in a video about your company or what you've been doing. You can put in your own presentations as well. So if you project manager, it's usually a good thing to put in what projects you've been working on so that people can visualize what type of work you've been doing. People like to be able to see things, so that's a possibility. What was the other thing?
Looking for you guys.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
Is the profile active immediately the minute you put information in, or is there a way you can just first upload it and then make it active?
It is active as soon as you send the activation email. Because what it'll do, it'll come in, you put in your email, you put in a couple of things, but then it won't allow you to go further with building that profile until you've clicked on the activation email that sends you. Yeah. But then it's live, then you're on there. That's why it's also usually a problem if somebody now, loses their password, they still go in and create a whole new profile. Then you're sitting with like 3 get response sales, and you actually don't know which one to use, and it might be a problem. So rather make every effort to go and get your password again or redo your password. You can do that forgot password, send you another link to the email that you use. So try and remember the email that you use for that. Keep it so that you know, and stick to the one profile. And make sure, that's why also people will look at those, if there are 3 for the same person, then they'll have a look at the connections and see which one has the most connections.
I have here somebody recently link for projects.
Yeah.
Organization, you have these different projects that we work on.
Yes, you can. And then if you do add project, it'll ask you about your team members. Yeah.
And what is the best way to approach your connections to give you recommendations?
Oh, recommendations, yeah, I didn't touch on that. Okay. So, when it comes to this particular job, I don't remember where it is myself. You can ask to be recommended. Now, there's a perception to being recommended. If people look at recommendations, you look at 3 recommendations for a person and you go, oh shame, poor person, not that popular, are they? You look at 4 to 8 and it's like, wow, this person's like really cool because they've got like really people that are actually like them and are prepared to post about them. All perception. So more than 8 and it's like, oh really, this person I like just thinks he's wonderful. So stick to sort of 4, 5 max at a time that you can have it on your profile. Pick and have one for different jobs, okay? Have one as a student, have one as a particular job, because what it does is people can then see the trends. And again, what type of person? Are you efficient? Are you a task-orientated person? Those type of things. That's why you want those recommendations on there. You don't have to put it on. You can actually choose whether you want that recommendation on there or not. Or you can send it back to the person and you say, no, that's actually false information about me. Would you mind sending me another one? Or you just don't use it, okay? So, but it is good to have it on there for the different types of jobs. And pick people that know you well, and pick people that know how you work. What was your management style? Because people want to see that. Sorry, you had a question at the end? Yeah. No? Okay. Yeah, but when you, as a student, you work in a group, so that also shows what your group style, and so sometimes it actually helps for people to see. Yeah. Sorry, Andrew, you had a question?
Yes, I had a question. I thought I saw in your profile that you also had your Twitter account.
Yes.
How do you work with the two together, or don't you, or what kind of relationship do you have between them?
That again is very much up to you. Okay, if you want to, you can link your Facebook, your Twitter, and your LinkedIn all together, so that whatever you post on there, if you post an article, it'll automatically go to your Twitter, it'll automatically go and post onto your Facebook. If you don't want it to be, and you want people only to recognize you on LinkedIn, then take off that Twitter, okay? Depends how you use Twitter. If you're using Twitter for academics and you're using it to tweet intelligently, then it might be worthwhile because you post those particular articles. And you want people to know what you're talking about. But if you're now a type of person that's in a group and you post just the, a type of question that is generic, you don't really want it to go out there. So be careful of how you connect. Make sure that you know why you want to connect to it. Same thing I was going to say quickly, in your groups, watch out, don't overburden people with your comments, okay? Have legitimate, critically analysis, you want comments that mean something on there. And people do not like it when you spam them with jobs, or if you spam them with, my company produces this, okay? That's why I also say have a look at what the group expects. Sometimes they say to you, don't, try to promote your own company. So make sure. There you go.
Sorry, just to get back to this, exactly how did you get to this stage? Unfortunately, I keep saying
okay, that's fine. So go to your profile.
Profile.
Yeah. Okay, and you've got here. Oops. Too many. View profile. Ask to be recommended. So you click on that. You can only ask people that you have a first connection with. You can't just ask anybody. So that's why you want to ask them. You will then be able to say who you want to choose, under which, and which job it's relating to. So say I did this one, and I can pick up to 3 different connections. Let's see, maybe Andrew will give me a recommendation. Are we connected, Andrew? There we go. Okay, so what I would do then, it would automatically pick him up. I would ask what relationship, and I would say, okay, okay, and so on. So you keep going until you're ready. And then in this little space, it comes up with an automatic message. You can tweak that. You can say, look, I'd really like people to know more about the way that I worked in a team. Would you mind saying something about that? You obviously don't want to feed them words. You want them to write as naturally as possible, but it is good to give people direction on how they should answer this. So go and say something that's worthwhile. Yeah.
And
yeah.
You were talking much earlier about the skills that LinkedIn puts right at the top to say, do you want to recommend some of these? How does LinkedIn decide what those are? Are they random, or are they based on what those people said you're good at?
It's initially picked up from your profile. So what you've got in your profile, you've got strategy management, you've got finance and accounts. If that's what you've put in your experience, it will choose those words at random, but
So
it
it
picks.
comes out of the experience, not the executive summary.
That's right. Yeah. So it actually comes out of both. It will look at both of them, but it also picks the most popular. So it'll take those keywords that appear the most within your profile.
Be careful what you write.
Exactly. Be very careful on what you want your audience to see and what you want them to know about you, or how much do you want them to know about you. So, anybody else? Just quickly before we go, then, if we're done with LinkedIn, if you have a question, you can always come in and talk to me. Okay. But I just wanted to show you, when there are other social media platforms. Obviously, I like Twitter, so that's kind of my baby there. Twitter is nice to do job searches. So if you're looking for jobs, accounting, Cape Town, be a little bit specific, put it in, and you'll be able to go see who is tweeting about jobs. And so there's, for example, there's finance jobs, okay, or it should take you through to their website straight away, which is also quite a nice way of going to have a look. Okay, it takes you to job mail, which of course is a lot of jobs on there. But at least it shows you what's available, what's out there, what's happening, who is tweeting, who's looking for those jobs. For example, there's internships, if that was your game. And you can then go through and see, well, for example, Sunpower Talent, who are they, what are they tweeting, what type of jobs are they, if that's what you're interested in, those are the people then you go follow. Same way as if you're looking for a particular expertise, you would go follow those gurus that are in that field. If you have your own company, then this is a very good way for viral marketing because you put out your information on here. You link it to your website. It's a way to drive traffic to your website. And then usually if you are doing marketing for your company, then you want to make sure that you are linked to your profile on LinkedIn as well. And then you follow the people or the themes that you have within your interest field. If you are interested in competitive intelligence, you go and follow all of those companies that have to do with that. And you find the most amazing information about that, and that will take you to maybe the next step of where else you can tap into for information. So it's more a way of spreading out your information of how you can find the next level of things. And you'd be surprised at how many contacts you start making with that. But if you're following it more from an academically intelligent way, not a very social, Lady Gaga way. Okay. Yeah.
By the way, Sunny, what do you recommend? Sunny, would you recommend it? Say, for example, if you want to use Twitter for a more professional reason, would you recommend that you make the choice of using Twitter for either personal or professional, or is there a balance that should be struck, or is it even possible to perhaps have two accounts where you keep the two sides apart?
The most ideal is to have a balance because Twitter is slightly quirky, right? But if you handle it well, you can appear very professional on there. And it's all about your personal brand. You want people to recognize you for who you are and what you're about. If you want to take your career seriously and you want to get to the next level in, say, competitive intelligence, you want to have that knowledge out there. So you want people to know that's what you are, so you would tweet about that. You would follow those people so that people can start seeing that trend. But you will also start commenting or talking about that type of thing. And you need to have a voice about it. So Twitter is a very good place for you to start practicing your opinion about that particular field so that people know, yes, I want to follow that because of the interesting stuff that they're doing. So when you have your profile, there it doesn't have to be extremely professional profile. You actually want a little bit of something quirky because you want people to follow you because they must remember, oh, you're the guy with the interesting competitive intelligence on motorbikes,
no pictures of you shooting vodka shots, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, be careful. You want to maintain that balance of being professional, but it needs to be something interesting that people want to know why they need to connect to you. Yeah.
What's the best way to shorten the URL?
Use Bitly. Okay, it's a quick, easy one. I haven't got on here, but it's very easy to find. Let's do this. Okay. What's nice is one day you paste your long link in there. So, say for example, let's go do this. Okay, that's good. All right, so I've got this particular website. Copy the URL, go to Bitly, pop it into your link there, shorten it. One there. Wait, there it goes. And you copy that, and you pop it into your, there we go. And that shortens it very nicely because you've only got 140 characters. And then whoever clicks onto that, it'll take it straight back to that page. And that's the nice thing because you can now go to those websites. It's a way of driving traffic to your website, but it's also a way to go to authentic websites like Harvard Business Review, go and see what they're really doing. You know, McKinsey Quarterly, MIT Sloan, all of those people that have really good information and interesting stuff that you might be interested in. Then you can go and see what's absolutely happening there. You can go and retweet it for your audience. If you know that there are people that are following you because of that particular interest, then you go and find the interesting stuff for them. Okay. Right. Come on, last question. I'll even give you two. Anybody else? You want to know anything else? All right. Okay. If you're all happy, then thank you very much. I hope you learned something. Otherwise, pop up to my office and come and talk to me. Okay.
So we